The thinking here is that once the current stimulus package is passed, then the administration can shift its focus to other areas like infrastructure and climate. Of course, both big policy agendas for Biden. He unveiled that $2 trillion climate plan last year that includes heavy investment into renewables, carbon-free power by 2035, net zero emissions by 2050, so just huge growth opportunity ahead. Of course, nothing is certain yet, but these are definitely pillars of his agenda. And there's a lot of opportunities for companies exposed to this theme. So analysts at Barclays this week pegged the total addressable market for renewable power generation at $4.5 trillion. They also see a huge uptick in electric vehicle sales from less than 2% penetration today in North America to 46% by 2035. So, Frank, just a lot of growth here for companies exposed to this theme.
A lot of opportunity being seen here, but what do people need to know before they invest in this space?
Well, the first thing is that it's not necessarily for the faint of heart. So after a monster 2020 that saw clean energy stocks just absolutely skyrocket, they've been hit by some pretty big weakness in recent weeks, of course, along with the sell-off in other growth areas of the market. But the sources I've spoken with say that the fundamental story remains intact. The earnings growth is there, and a pullback of this nature was to be expected after the absolutely huge gains of 2020. So, Frank, getting down to the specifics, there's a lot of names for investors to have on their radar. Barclays pointed to names like Sunrun and EV supplier Aptiv, while Goldman Sachs was out with a note this week saying that they foresee residential solar growing between 10% and 20% annually. So they like names like Sonova and Enphase Energy. So just a lot of different ways for investors to play this theme.
All right, Pippa, before I let you go, we have to talk about that recent power crisis in Texas. What does that crisis mean for renewables in 2021?
Yeah, that's a great question. Officials, of course, are still gathering data and figuring out exactly what happened and then how a disaster of this nature can be avoided in the future. But one of the typical short-term impacts we do see after an event like this is an uptick in demand for storage. So customers are saying if they can't rely on the utility company to have the lights on, they want to take matters into their own hands. So I spoke to the CEOs of two publicly traded solar companies in the last weeks. Both of them said that they've seen a jump in storage sales already after that devastation in Texas. And interestingly, the uptick in storage demand is not focused exclusively on Texas. People in other parts of the country are saying they want to ensure power reliability going forward. So definitely an uptick in solar and storage demand here.
Shepard Smith here. Thanks for watching CNBC on YouTube.